Start over. Theme song. And welcome back to the Constitutionals podcast. I'm your host, Chad White. If you didn't know, this is the premiere podcast for the website, cpluscomedy.com. Like I just said, it's a website. Go there. Welcome back in. Here we are. We're in episode 355 of the podcast. I am waiting on an Amazon delivery. What else is going on? Not a goddamn thing. I didn't see a movie this week. I didn't do anything. I'm currently playing Hogwarts. I don't know what this game is called. Hogwarts Legacy. I knew it was Legacy something, but I don't want to seem stupid. That's why I just paused for 45 seconds. Hogwarts Legacy is a game that came out 2 years ago at this point, and it is you're starting as a fifth-year student thanks to Professor Weasley, who is, I assume, related to Ron Weasley. Anyway, you start the game. I don't know what this is. You start the game, and you have to go to school I think it's the start of the school year because everybody else is getting their houses. I chose Slytherin, and you're attacked by dragon, and now you have to go to school, and everybody knows that something's going on with you. I don't know. I think it's I like Harry Potter. I hate J.K. Rowling. And one of my concerns about this game, well, first of all, I didn't want to pay for it. So I've been waiting patiently. It finally came. First, it came to PlayStation Plus. If you have PlayStation Plus Extra, which is the mid tier, and then I was like, I'm not going to pay. I'm not even paying for extra. I want to wait till it comes to Game Pass. And then they change how you pay for Game Pass. But thankfully, I have it until January, at least. And it finally came to Game Pass. So I downloaded it instantly. I started it up a couple of weeks ago. I think the day it came to Game Pass, I think I downloaded it and started up. And I made my guy. You can only make him, again, because J.K. Rowling... No, you can make a trans character, which is fun. There's also a trans character in the game, which is great, and then they also refer to this is RPG mechanics, but they also refer to your character as they, which is interesting to say the least. But the J.K. Rowling part of it, notwithstanding, it's an excellent game. I have issues with. A lot of modern games, I think it started with Destiny, and a game I do not play, but I think it started with Destiny. And if there's a game that came before it, then I blame that game. A lot of modern games, a lot of modern games use cursors. Now, instead of using, allowing you to choose things as a game should, they do cursor movement, and it sucks, and I hate it. What also happened... Oh, Jesus. I hear Maverick retching over there. He's chewing on himself. There might be a little bit of a flea thing, so I bought a flea comb, and we've been taking care of it, but it's been very tough this past week. Yesterday I spent, I don't know, maybe 30 minutes on the porch, on the balcony with him and the cat, and I was just picking out fleas. But it's getting handled today, to the very least. Anyway, what also started this week was the NBA. NBA started up on 4 different platforms: NBC and Peacock. I'm going to count those as 2 separate platforms, and Prime Video and ESPN / ABC, I guess. You can now watch basketball pretty much. I would say it's as accessible as it's ever been, with an asterisk, because you do have to pay for Peacock, and it is going to get games that are exclusive to it, much in the same way on Peacock there are some football games you can only get there, and much in the same way that what is the MLS, American League Soccer, is only on Apple TV. Soon F1 is only going to be on Apple TV Plus. Thursday Night Football, some games are on Prime Video. So it's all up and up. It was for what NBC's coverage used to be, and I was too young to watch or to comprehend or to enjoy or to remember or whatever the last time they had it. But that was 20 years ago. I was a teenager. Anyway, I wasn't as big of a fan as I am now. But NBC's coverage is exactly what it needed to be. It's not. It doesn't have all the bells and whistles. It's not too loud or too boisterous. I did not watch on Peacock. I have not seen a basketball game on Peacock as of yet. But the broadcasting coverage was fine. And the new bug that they have for the scores, that's good too. And everything just worked. That's what you want out of sports coverage. And it's nice to hear the NBC basketball theme. And it's nice to recognize, for them to be recognizing Tim's from SNL's and Now I Think You Should Leave, his SNL sketch with Jason Sudeikis. So that's great. Just to hear that song and in my head, and everybody who's seen that sketch is going, basketball, gimme. Give me the ball because I'm going to dunk it. It's a great song. But I'm enjoying it. Michael Jordan started his role with NBC as well. And as you'll probably, I'm going to bring this up. Let's see. Where's the Chrome? Here we go. Oh, I don't want you to see my email. Hold on. I have to close that down. All right, here we go. This comes from The Athletic, written by D. Shanoff, A. Marchand, and R. Deich. And I swear to God if I mispronounce it, I'm so sorry. What we're hearing about Michael Jordan's NBA on NBC Future. So if you saw the basketball, the 2 games that they had on NBC this past, actually I think they had a couple more. Anyway, if you had on Tuesday, the coverage was excellent. There were hiccups, but my friend Maria Taylor, yes, we've met. My friend Maria Taylor, they handled it admirably. And the NBC debuted Michael Jordan's special correspondent business, and as part of their 12-year, $27 billion TV deal with this league, they hired Michael Jordan, or they brought him out from the crypt in order to do this thing. And the reason I'm being so, I don't want to even say cautious with it, is because I'm glad it exists and I like seeing it, but it's something that what we now know is going to be season long. It's something that is just too little for what it is. So if you didn't watch, Michael Jordan's NBC contributor status is basically what amounts to a one-on-one interview with Mike Tirico, who does an excellent job. They both do an excellent job. It's a 3-minute conversation that that it's what I assume, if they're going to be doling this out over the season, is an hour-long conversation, but they've chopped it up into 3-minute segments. And I don't understand why they were so, as is put in this piece, why they're so tight-lipped about it before. As Andrew Marchand notes, he says, quote, "I think it's a little playing it by ear as it is up to MJ how much he wants to do." They're going to be sprinkling these clips, Marchand continues, throughout the season. Given Jordan's reluctance to do too much, Marchand also said that the fact that Jordan wasn't at NBC Sports' upfront presentation when the network made the announcement that he would be a special correspondent, and that he isn't in Oklahoma, he wasn't in Oklahoma City in that opening night, would indicate that it may not be much more. And I will be surprised if at the end of the season they don't comprise all the clips into one big, or just release the whole interview, release the Jordan cut, as the kids say. The reason why he's doing this comes from the Associated Press via ESPN. Michael Jordan says that this NBA broadcasting role is a way for him to give back, which is fine. He has done a lot for the league, and the league has done a lot for him, and this is a nice thing to give it back. Oh, also it's called MJ Insights to Excellence, and the first one was a great conversation. I'll tell you this much. We all know I wake up at 3:30 in the morning to work out, and I was in bed watching this because I wanted to see what this was. And as the clock kept ticking during halftime of the first game, I thought, oh wow, the entire halftime is going to be this. And then it hit like 2:58, on that interview, and then they cut back to the game, and I went, oh, that makes sense. And that's when I realized this is everything that Michael Jordan's going to do. During the segment, as pointed out by the Associated Press, Jordan said, "I have an obligation to the game of basketball as a basketball player is to be able to pass on messages of success and dedication to the game of basketball." I do like Jordan's reasoning behind this. What was fascinating about one part of the conversation that I just can't stop thinking of is Mike Tirico says, "When's the last time you picked up a basketball?" And Jordan's like, "Oh, it's been a long, long, long time." And my only thought is, you're Michael Jordan. Like that's a crazy thing to say. Like, he doesn't play basketball. I'm not saying that he should play basketball every single day, but the idea that Michael Jordan doesn't pick up a basketball, or some like a ball shaped thing, like once a week and just shoot around. He told this story, and again, just go watch the 3-minute clip, but he told this story about how he was invited to Saudi Arabia, I think, but he was somewhere, and they had like an Airbnb, and the host was like, "Hey, here's a basketball, shoot the ball," and he shot it from half court or something. He did a 3-point shot or something like that, and he was just like praying that it went in. And it went in because he knew it, but if it didn't, he said it would have ruined the rest of his week. It's just so funny. Yeah, he was at the Ryder Cup, and he. I just told this story. That's crazy. I should have continued reading. But that was the extent. And again, that's only going to be on NBC as opposed to the ESPN games or the Peacock games. I guess I don't know. I didn't watch the Peacock games, but I want to see more, and because we have never gotten Michael Jordan's take on current basketball or how current players are or how it compares to, I'm sorry, I'm moving around cables. How it compares to how basketball now compares to what it was 30 years ago. It's fascinating. And right now, I'm locked in. But there will come a time, around Christmas, maybe around the New Year, around February, when I'm going, the trade deadline. I'm just going, all right, come on, let's hurry this up. Hey, also Inside the NBA returned, and it was more or less the same show. Chuck, obviously, if you've not been paying attention, Chuck is on the shot, and he has lost a lot of weight. It is the same show from TNT on ESPN. We will be getting a lot less of it, but the schedule is out. It has been released, and we will get. I'm trying to find the schedule. Viewers will get more of Inside the NBA next year, but for now, I believe they end sometime in November. I don't particularly know. Let me see. Inside the NBA schedule. Also, I said schedule today, and at the dog park, and nobody even blinked an eye. Today is the 24th of October. We'll be getting, so we already had the 22nd and 23rd, both on ESPN, and then the 29th you'll have one more, and then November 12th another one, then Christmas Day on ESPN and ABC, and then starting January 24th. They'll be coming regularly throughout January, February, and March. About once or twice a week, it looks like, or 3 times in March, and then none. And then after that, from mid-March, you'll get one in April. It's more than what we thought we were getting on ESPN, but it's also a lot less than what they used to be doing. And then as a fan, we know starting in January, February, March, typically 3 out of 4 of those guys are gone most of the time, especially, around the March time when Chuck is doing, I think Chuck and I think everybody but Shaq is doing March Madness, or they were on TNT. So who knows? And also what stinks is I'm now seeing this on. Oh Lord, don't autoplay. I'm now seeing this on ESPN. They do have a hub for Inside the NBA, but there's no separate YouTube channel. Everything is culled into the NBA on ESPN channel or the ESPN channel, and I do not like that. So I had to. I didn't know that they were coming back on October 22nd, so I had to pressed record on the YouTube on the DVR on YouTube TV. So I missed that episode, but I had to watch it online. Everything is so broken now. It's so broken now, and I don't like it. I don't like that things are splitting up all over the place. All right, let's move on. This comes from The Hollywood Reporter, written by Tony Maglio. Warner Bros. Discovery is for sale after all, as quote-unquote multiple parties circle. We were told that that no more would Warner Brothers be up for sale. But that turned out to be a lie, and that was a lie. That's from a thing, I think. And it looks like David Zaslav, in all of his wisdom, is willing to put the company up for sale for probably 2 reasons. Not for 2 things. Not for 2 reasons, excuse me. But for a high price to sell it off, and also to get money for himself. He's going to get paid regardless. That's what's going to happen. I think this is a way, and this is not, a hot take or anything. Him selling this company now, or later when it's split up, but I think now preferably is a way for him to get out fast and with a lot of money, which is not something, which is commonplace for any one of these fucking CEOs, but this is unfortunate to see. One company that we know for a fact and I'm gonna jump ahead to an article, is interested in Warner Brothers, is the newly formed Paramount Skydance. This comes from the New York Times, written by Lauren Hirsch and Andrew Ross Sorkin. 3 offers in 1 month, Paramount's secret pursuit of Warner Bros. Discovery. And as it turns out, Zaslav has turned down David Ellison every single time. Zaslav says, "We continue to make important strides to position our business to succeed in today's evolving media landscape by advancing our strategic initiatives, returning our studios to industry leadership, and scaling HBO Max globally. We took the bold step of preparing to separate the company into 2 distinct leading media companies, Warner Bros. And Discovery Global, because we strongly believe this was the best path forward." What he means by Warner Bros. And Discovery Global is that Warner Bros. Is the studio plus HBO Max, the streaming, so the profitable side of the company, and then Discovery Global is all the shit that's not profitable. The cable channels, CNN, I think the video game stuff too. And what's interesting is that could be so much more profitable if you put the time and the effort into it. Even with all the loot box shit that happened with Suicide Squad, that and then the disastrous game that is Gotham City Knights, all of that could have been profitable if you just put the time and effort into it. I don't like the idea of Paramount Global buying up Warner Bros. Discovery one bit. That would not that is such a monopolistic idea. And part of the reason why I think they're jumping on this now is because of the administration that is in charge. One of the shares, I'm back at the New York Times article. One of the offers was Paramount's first bid was for $19 a share. And then at some point in late September, it moved up to $22 per share. The latest bid, it's October 24th, was delivered on October 13th. Paramount offered company shareholders $23.50 a share in cash and stock. That offer represented an 87% premium to Warner Bros. Discovery's share price before its intent to make a bid for the company was first reported in early September. And remember, that was a rumor at that point. On Wednesday, Warner Bros. Shares closed at $20.53. This would be a massive problem for the industry on a whole. This would ruin producers, directors, writers, actors. This would ruin everything. And if Warner Brothers is up for sale for the 3rd time in 15 years, right? Because AT&T bought them from Time Warner, bought the Time Warner assets, I guess. So that's one. And that was still when I was in college. So that was a couple of years ago. So that was AT&T and then Discovery and then now this, wherever it's going to go. No creative person is excited about this. And every business person will tell you, this is what has to happen. This is going to be good for the industry, and they're going to put AI in everything. This is not what you want. And in fact, here's a link to an article that came out a couple of days ago. And this is not something I'm going to link into the show notes, but Batman, Captain Kirk, CBS, and CNN all under one roof, written by Keith Collins and Benjamin Mullen. The franchises that would be owned are insane, including the DC Universe, Mission Impossible, Star Trek, Harry Potter, Top Gun. If Warner was able to keep Lord of the Rings, oh my goodness, they would run fantasy, the fantasy world. Mr. Ellison wrote in that letter to shareholders. We are confident that we are the best partner for WBD, with a combination of our two companies creating a scaled Hollywood champion to the benefit of both our companies' shareholders, consumers, and entertainment industry at large. David Ellison, who is now in charge of Paramount, it's really fast. This is very interesting. My job is TV producer, by and large, TV producer. I've been a TV producer for ages. When I talk to people who are just like interested in the entertainment industry but don't know much about it, they often, and we have a conversation about this stuff, they often will introduce information that is incorrect. And I'll just go along. I'm like, yeah, I'll just go along with it. That happened yesterday at the dog park, where a guy said something and about the merger between Paramount and Skydance, and it was completely wrong. I wish it were true, but it was completely wrong, and I just went, okay, sure. He said something about the merger, and I was just like, no, but yeah, you're right. Yeah, okay. Just so I could hurry up the conversation so I can get Maverick and get out of there, because I was tired. In the letter, Paramount argued it was Warner Bros. Only viable suitor, contending that any rival offer was likely to come from a bigger company that would invariably invite regulatory scrutiny. This would do the same thing, though. I wonder what would happen to CNN had that, like, if that was the case. I wonder what would happen to CBS News. Would they would not run both of them at the exact same time? I know that for a fact. Now, potential suitors. This comes from Bloomberg, written by Lucas Shaw. Other potential suitors. Warner Bros. To begin sharing financial data with bidders. Other potential suitors included Netflix and Comcast. Comcast is not going to be able to offer much money, and in fact, that would also be a monopoly. I think even more so than Paramount. And Netflix has said this week, what's his name? Hold on. I have to pause this. Give me a second. Hello? I'm all right by yourself. All right, sounds good. I'll be on the lookout for it. All right. Have a good interview. Thanks, guys. Thank you. Bye. And we're back. I was right. That was a phone call that I needed to answer. It's a very important phone call. It was a very important, hopefully money making phone call, but we'll see. Anyway, back onto this. Now the idea that Netflix earlier this week, Ted Sarandos said that they were not interested in. I'm butchering this quote, but he did say that they're not interested in purchasing legacy networks, and I think all the news that I read surrounding that made it sound like well everybody took that in the way that that he said that they were not interested, that Netflix was not interested in purchasing any like old studios like Warner Bros. Discovery or Disney. But if you read into that, as people are wanting to do, if you read into that, wouldn't that mean what he said, that they're not interested in buying legacy networks? And again, I'm butchering this quote, but they're not interested in buying legacy networks. Doesn't that mean that they're not interested in buying cable assets? TNT, Cartoon Network, TBS. But that they would be interested in getting, if you see me appearing at the corner of my eye, I am looking for a very important email. So I'm paying attention. But wouldn't Netflix be interested in buying Warner Brothers? Because that would not only bolster what they have to offer on Netflix, which is a lot. They have 30 to 35,000 hours worth of shows and movies and everything. So wouldn't that be what they want? Cool. It happened, baby. Oh boy. I just saw my email. Don't worry about that. So they would, if Netflix or Comcast or Paramount or Apple or whomever is interested, in charge, is what I was about to say, if they were to acquire something, they would not only get the film and TV library, but they would also get production assets too. According to this Bloomberg article, which I had to bypass the paywall on, so that's why I'm not showing it. David Zaslav briefed senior executives at the company on Tuesday, saying Amazon and Apple had also expressed interest. Amazon and Apple declined to comment. Now, of everybody, of all the companies that have been floated and talked about, the only one that more or less perked up my ears, and I'm very disappointed to say this, because I'm against the purchasing of any of this by these big tech companies, and actually I'm against these mergers in the first place. But the only one that really perked up my ears was Apple, because Apple has Apple TV, which is a fine product, and it is one of the cheaper ones out there, and it also includes everything you own on the platform. So I have all the Transformers movies on Apple. Very true. I have every single one, including the first animated one. I think they're great, and by great, I think they're movies that I can put on and just have on. Period. But Apple really intrigued me, and if any one of these companies were to, I am so sorry about the noise you're hearing. If any one of these companies were to purchase Warner Brothers, I would prefer it to be Apple, because they have the money and they clearly want shows and movies on that platform. But are they necessarily going to spend the money to do it? To buy a massive company like this, and then also continue to make these Game of Thrones shows, or these Harry Potter TV shows, or the Task season 2 or the DC Universe movies. I don't know. According to this article, Bloomberg, a combination of HBO Max with another streaming service would create some overlap as many customers subscribe to multiple services. Very true. I believe people, I think like the average number is people have 4 services that they pay for. An estimated 45% of HBO Max customers also subscribe to Netflix. I think that's true, and I would be surprised if it's not bigger. I can't imagine having just HBO Max. I can't imagine having HBO Max and like Peacock and Apple TV and then being like Netflix. I don't like that place because they offer pretty much the same thing. The overlap with Apple TV subscribers is 21.1%. Peacock is 23.2%. Paramount Plus is 29%. That's a lot, really. And Netflix is 45%. We don't have any more information, and I don't think we'll have any more information for a little bit of time. I'm not going to say forever. I'm not going to say soon, but this is, I think that they are trying. I think the current presidential administration, unfortunately, is playing a big factor in this. So I think that's why these companies are doing this now. And then also, just the state of the industry at this point in time. I think people are getting out and trying to save money where they can. Excuse me, not trying to get the money where they can. And it's just, I don't know. All right, and on a final note for video games, I should have moved this up a lot higher because I wanted to end on Warner Brothers, and also I have to do something in a couple of minutes. This comes from Tom Warren over at The Verge. Did Microsoft just tease that the next Xbox is a PC and a console? There was an interview that came out this week with Xbox president Sarah Bond. She sat down with Mashable to discuss the Xbox Ally X handheld that came out last week that I talked about at length. And she said something that popped out so interestingly that no one is talking about. She said, when asked about rumors, Warren White writes, when asked about rumors that the next gen Xbox console will be more like a gaming PC, Bond appeared to agree. I can tell you right now, you're right, that the next gen console is going to be very premium, very high-end curated experience. You're starting to see some of the thinking we have in this handheld, but I don't want to give it all away. It's a heavy-handed hint, but we are fans, people are right to believe that they're probably inching towards that direction. The Ally X, the ROG Ally, and then the ROG Ally X, both released at disparate prices. The weaker one, the Ally, is just $500 or $600, and then the other one, the Ally X, is $1,000. People are complaining, yet the Ally X sold out. People are interested in everything from the Steam Deck all the way up to the Lenovo Legion Go 2. They're interested in having Steam OS as their operating system, not particularly Windows. But people are interested in handheld PCs. That's why we have the Amber Nix coming out. And I know a lot of these things run on Android. I don't care. But that's why we have the Amber Nix coming out. That's why they have the Aya Neos doing well. They're coming out constantly. My goodness. But people are interested. They want these high-end things in their hands, and then also to have the ability to dock to the TV or dock to a monitor. It's very interesting. I feel as though I know they existed prior to the Steam Deck, and I know they existed prior to the Switch, but I feel that the Switch and the Steam Deck, in particular, those two devices are the reasons why people are now like, oh my goodness, I want this handheld thing. I'm interested. I would love if the Ally X was powerful enough to do Adobe stuff, and like to like truly just like I just like my requiem is for a device like the iPad or like the Steam Deck that has two USB Thunderbolt ports, and you can plug in the USB-C, the USB-Cs, and then and you plug it into a dock, and the dock opens up the power, and you're able to use it like a desktop computer, and it's pretty powerful on its own, but also you can plug it in, and it's very powerful. That's my requiem. That's what I really, truly, sincerely want. Oh. To have to now. I'm sorry. I'm texting. All right. Anyway, okay. But so this device, and when I read that she said that, my first thought was there's going to be a device like the Ally X that it's going to look like that, and hopefully one of the two things will happen. Either Windows would have been updated to be more console friendly or game friendly, handheld friendly, or Xbox has created their own skin, much like Steam Big Picture OS, where the fuck that thing is. It's like there's a version of that, and then also it's going to be 5, 6, 7, 8. Maybe I would be surprised if it launches at the same price as the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox Series X. But I would probably surmise it's probably going to be $600-$700. It's going to be more PC like, and I would hope that a couple of years ago a couple of years ago people were talking about there were patents coming out that the next Xbox is going to be more modular. I would hope that it'd be more modular, kind of like the framework laptops and the framework PCs, where you can, buy an extra USB-C port and then plug it into the laptop, and then now you have an extra USB-C port. And if you want to take out the other USB-A or whatever, we'll see. They've been hinting at it more and more by saying things like Xbox experience is not going to be locked to a single store or tied to one device. You can on the Ally X, obviously, since it's a handheld PC, they allow you to download the Steam store and Epic Games and GOG. But wouldn't it be great if the next Xbox allowed for you to download your Steam games to your Xbox? This would be this would be a nice shift for Xbox. But then, I don't know who said this yesterday, but somebody at Xbox said that what kind of games? Exclusive games are antiquated, which it doesn't make sense to say that, because there are so many games on PC that I can only play on Steam Deck and other PC variants. There's some games you can only play on the iPad and the Apple Arcade. There's some games you can only play on I was going to say Android phones. That's not true. I don't think that's true. But they do need first party games in order to get people to the systems, because not everybody's like me and they play first party releases and third party games on Xbox and play only first party games on PlayStation. Some people only have one console, and if they want to play games on Switch 2, that's going to be their console. So I really hope Xbox is able to hone in on what they want, on what should happen and what gamers want, because there's no point in just having a console that can only play that plays third-party games, because then nobody's going to go over there. Because if the PlayStation 6 comes out and it's $700, they beat you by $100, and you release the Xbox Series X2 at $800 or $1,000, or you release it at $700, but you say, hey, you can put in a new NVIDIA driver or NVIDIA graphics card every year, or you can put in a new SSD thing, then what's the point? All right, I have to go. Listen, if you like what you heard here, head to the website, cpluscomedy.com, where you can see me talk to famous people a lot of times. If you, I'm like rushing through this. If you, what is it? If you want to watch a video version of the show, go to youtube.com/cpluscomedy, where you can see a video version of this podcast, as well as the other podcasts, Late Night Lately, the Late Night Show, and LinkedIn Logs, the Jobs podcast. You can subscribe to those shows wherever you get your podcasts. Also on youtube.com/cpluscomedy is an interview series called The Interviews, where I sit down and I talk to famous people, semi-famous people, or quarter-famous people. All of that youtube.com is on youtube.com/cpluscomedy. Follow us on social media at cpluscomedy on Blue Sky, Instagram, and TikTok. Me at Chat Black White. Thank you so much for listening. We'll see you next time. Bye.